Hello, law students and legal practitioners. Today, we will analyze the case of Castro versus Ginete, GR number L-30058, decided by the Supreme Court on March 28, 1969. Let's begin. Here are the legal doctrines of this case. The act of a losing candidate in congratulating the proclaimed winner, attending the latter's inauguration, or publicly recognizing the proclamation does not stop such candidate from filing an election protest. Election contests involve public interest, and courts must allow full opportunity to determine the true will of the electorate. Estoppel by conduct requires clear proof of representation or concealment of material facts, knowledge of such facts, intent that the other party rely on the representation, and actual reliance resulting in prejudice. Mere acceptance of an official proclamation does not satisfy these elements. Election protest statutes are liberally construed. Technical defects or omissions in pleadings should not defeat an election protest when the allegations of fraud or irregularities, if proven, would necessarily alter the result of the election or place the validity of the proclaimed candidate's victory in serious doubt. Here are the relevant facts of this case. Luis G. de Castro and Julian G. Ginete were rival candidates for the position of municipal mayor of Bulan, Sorsogon, in the November 14, 1967 elections. De Castro was proclaimed the winning candidate by the Board of Canvassers on January 1, 1968, with a narrow margin of 12 votes over Ginete. After the proclamation, Ginete wrote De Castro a congratulatory note, turned over the symbolic keys of office, attended De Castro's inauguration, and publicly urged the people of Bulan to cooperate with the new mayor. Despite these acts, Ginete subsequently filed an election protest before the Court of First Instance, CFI, of Sorsogon, alleging widespread frauds and irregularities in numerous precincts that materially affected the election result. De Castro, as proteste, filed a manifestation in motion, and later an amended motion to dismiss the protest. He argued that Ginete was stopped from contesting the election because Ginete had conceded De Castro's victory and publicly recognized him as mayor. De Castro also argued that the protest should be dismissed for failure to state a cause of action, claiming that Ginete did not expressly allege that correction of the irregularities would result in Ginete's election. After hearings, the CFI denied De Castro's motions. De Castro then filed a petition for certiorari before the Supreme Court, alleging grave abuse of discretion on the part of the trial judge in refusing to dismiss the election protest. Issue 1. Whether respondent Ginete was stopped from filing an election protest by reason of his post-proclamation acts and statements recognizing De Castro as the winner. No, Ginete was not stopped from contesting the election. Estoppel requires a representation of material facts made with intent to induce reliance, actual reliance by the other party, and consequent prejudice. Election contests are imbued with public interest, and mere recognition of a canvass result does not bar legal remedies provided by law. The court held that Ginete's congratulatory note, participation in the inauguration, and public statements were acts of sportsmanship and respect for the official proclamation, not a waiver of his legal right to protest. Ginete did not mislead De Castro nor induce him to assume office. De Castro assumed office by operation of law based on the proclamation. Thus, the essential elements of estoppel were absent. Issue 2. Whether the election protest should be dismissed for failure to state a cause of action because it did not expressly allege that correction of the irregularities would result in Ginete's election. No, the election protest sufficiently stated a cause of action. In a motion to dismiss for failure to state a cause of action, the allegations are hypothetically admitted. Election protest laws must be liberally construed, and immaterial defects in pleadings should not defeat the determination of the electorate's true will. The court found that the protest alleged numerous frauds and irregularities affecting many precincts, far exceeding the 12-vote margin. If proven, these allegations would necessarily overturn the proclaimed result or, at the least, invalidate the election. Dismissing the protest on technical grounds would frustrate the public interest in ensuring lawful elections. Issue 3. Whether the trial judge committed grave abuse of discretion in denying De Castro's motions to dismiss the election protest. No. There was no grave abuse of discretion. Trial courts have the authority and duty to hear election protests when they sufficiently allege frauds or irregularities casting doubt on the validity of the election. Certiorari does not lie absent a clear showing of excess or lack of jurisdiction. The Supreme Court ruled that the CFI properly exercised jurisdiction in allowing the protest to proceed. The denial of the motions to dismiss was consistent with established principles favoring liberal construction of election laws. Thank you for listening and happy learning. Please don't forget to subscribe to the Legal Shepherd PH YouTube channel and click the notification bell to stay updated on newly uploaded cases and jurisprudence. See you again for our next case discussions.